with grade leader who gets to work with our California sea lions. And today you are going to get to see a behind the scenes look at one of our feeding and training sessions with these amazing animals. I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about how we train them and of course why we train them. And you're going to get to see some of the current training that we're working on right here in the theater. But before we get into all of that, I do want to introduce you to the stars of our presentation today, so let's meet them. Working right here with me is Clara. She is turning 7 years old this summer. Now Clara is quite the spunky sea lion. We're going to see what she's going to share for all of you today. Ta-da! Let's try that one more time. There we go. All right. Up next, you're going to get to meet Maya. She is turning 8 years old this summer. And she is with her trainer, Amanda. Let's see what they're going to share. A sea lion spin. Nice job. Making our way down the line, we are going to be meeting Callie. She is turning 13 years old this summer. And she is working with trainer Kim. Let's see what they're going to share. Some dance moves. Nice job. Well, now that you've met our sea lions, I do want to get right into it and talk to you a little bit about how we train them. You might notice that we're feeding our sea lions fish from this big bucket that's on our hip here. And this fish is very important for the type of training that we do here called positive reinforcement training. So essentially, anytime our sea lions do something really great, we're going to reinforce them with something really great as well. And our sea lions definitely enjoy fish. So you'll notice that they'll gobble up that fish in one big gulp. And all the fish that we feed to our sea lions here is sustainable seafood. And that means it's coming from populations out in the open ocean that are abundant in size, which allows for the animals out there to have plenty of fish to eat as well. But our sea lions do also have other interests. You may have seen I just sprayed some water into Clara's mouth here, but she's actually not drinking any of that water. She's actually spitting it all out. And that's because sea lions, they don't need to drink water like you and I do. They get all the water that they need from the fish that they eat. But some of them definitely seem to enjoy the sensation of that water hitting the roof of their mouth. Now Clara here also enjoys a little noogie on her head. Nice job. But you might see us give our sea lions a big high five or even clap for them as well throughout today's session. And these are all different ways that we can reinforce our sea lions when we're training with them. Now you might be wondering how our sea lions know what behaviors we're asking them. And if you watch closely, you'll see that we use our hands in many different ways. So for instance, if I want Clara to lift up her flipper, I can move my hands like this. Nice job. But if I want her to open her mouth, I can move my hands like this. But our sea lions are very intelligent, so I can also say, open, and she can open her mouth for me. And our sea lions do have tactile cues as well. So they know certain behaviors. If we can touch a certain body part on them, they'll do a certain behavior. So mine here knows every time Deb touches her chest to vocalize. Pretty cute, right? So definitely watch. You can give it a round of applause. So definitely take a look throughout the session today and see how we're communicating with our sea lions. And you'll see we're moving our hands in all different types of motions. Now we are going to talk to you a little bit about how our sea lions know when they are correct. So you might have heard us say the word good, and that lets our sea lions know that the behavior was correct, and they can come back to us and receive a whole bunch of reinforcement. So you saw that Clara went on that porpoising behavior. We're going to try that one more time. And she knows to continue this behavior until she hears that magic word. She knows she was correct. She's going to come on back and receive a whole bunch of reinforcements. But we don't always want to say the word good on microphone. So we do have other ways that we can communicate with our sea lions as well. And I'm going to highlight Deb and Maya one more time. And we're going to see if Deb can show you another way that we can let our sea lions know that they were correct. Let's see what she chooses. She gave her a big point, and that lets her know the same thing, that she did a wonderful job she's going to get a whole bunch of reinforcement for that behavior. So now you're seeing how we ask our sea lions for certain behaviors, how we let them know that the behavior was correct, and also how we reinforce our sea lions. But you might be wondering how we train a specific behavior. Each one is broken down into teeny tiny steps or approximations to create a larger end goal. And one of the very first things that we train our sea lions is to target. So Claire can target her muzzle to my hand and follow it wherever it goes. Good. And this is how we can break down certain behaviors. We can actually shape behaviors together. So for instance, Claire can target her muzzle to my hand and follow it in a circular motion. Good. Now this time I'm going to lift up my hand so she's not touching it, but she's following it. Nice job. And then eventually it can become a smaller hand signal. And then eventually the hand signal that looks like this for her to spin. Nice job. Now we are going to highlight a behavior that Deb is working on with Callie here, and it's actually what we call a beach cleanup behavior. So this is a great way for us to educate our guests, just like you, to help pick up trash or pollution anytime you see it. And one of the first things that we can train Callie to do is take an object in her mouth. So Deb's going to present it, Callie can take it in her mouth, and then she can take it back. And we can actually have our sea lions travel with this item in their mouth as well. So we're going to have Deb toss that item out into the center of the pool first. And Callie's going to go get it. She's a little bit excited, so she went before Deb asked, but that's perfectly fine. But you can see that she can travel with that item in her mouth. Now the next step of this behavior is actually to have Deb send Callie on her own from backstage out to front stage, pick up the bottle in her mouth, put it in a pail, and then carry it all the way backstage again to join Deb. We're going to try this behavior one more time, and she did wait for Deb. There she goes. So Deb's going to let her know that she did a great job. Nice. So now this time, Deb's going to set her up, and she's going to travel across the entire stage. Without Deb, Deb's going to be backstage. So we definitely need to cheer Callie on, and we'll see how she does with this behavior. All right, we're almost ready. She's going to set up the bottle. And if she does this correctly, we're going to cheer her on. And this bottle's going to roll away. All righty. Everyone ready? Oh. And she is so excited to show you. So sometimes, as you can see, our sea lions are incorrect, and that's perfectly fine. What we can do is set them up and provide a little bit more information to hopefully allow them to succeed. So you can see that our trainer Kim is actually going to set up this bottle instead of Deb. And Callie is waiting, which is great. All right, and then watch Deb for this hand signal. Oh, she almost had it. But that was pretty good. So you can see how we piece together all these different parts of a behavior to create an end goal. There she goes. And we always want to end on a positive note with our sea lions, whatever we're working on. So Deb was able to have her try one more time to pick up the bottle, put it in that bucket, and then pick up the bucket, and she did a great job with that. Now Deb's going to come back to that behavior maybe today or tomorrow at another time and be able to continue to work on that behavior. But we do always want to work on new things as well as things that our sea lions already know. And one of the really fun behaviors that Clara knows is called innovate. So basically our sea lions can choose to do whatever behavior that they'd like. The only rule of this game is that they can't repeat the same thing twice. So we're going to see what Claire has to offer here. And she can literally choose anything. So sometimes it's a really subtle behavior. Sometimes it's really big. So we'll check this out. What else? Good. She laid down and had her mouth open. I'm going to switch sides with her. What else? Good. And that time she made a little bit of a vocalization. Let's see. What else? Good. Really goofy, right? definitely all their choice, and it is one behavior that we can use to help mentally stimulate our sea lions. Now, one of the most common questions we do get asked is why do we train our sea lions? And that is definitely one reason, to keep them mentally and physically stimulated. So that is one way we can keep them mentally stimulated, but another way that we can get them moving around the habitat is by training different agility behaviors, and I'm going to show you one right now.
But we do have another impressive behavior we want to share with all of you, and this is to help inspire all of you to care for and protect these amazing animals. But what better way to do this than to bring one of our sea lions a whole lot closer to all of you. And we're actually going to be bringing Maya out of the front gates here. So while Maya's out the gate, we do ask that everyone stay in their seats, but definitely get your cameras ready. Maya is very cute and definitely photogenic, but we don't want to spook her in any way. Now, this is not a new behavior for Maya, but she is getting used to seeing these very large crowds. Now, just a reminder, we do ask that you stay in your seats for us. We don't want to spook Maya in any way. Thank you so much. You'll notice that we have some green viewing squares located on the walkway here, and she's doing a pretty good job. She's a little bit nervous, but that's okay. We just ask you to take a seat, okay? We don't want to spook Maya in any way. There you go. All right, let's try one more time. And what we can do is actually just take Maya out individual gates instead of having her walk in front of the big crowd. That's one of our back steps. And she's not feeling it today. She's a little bit camera shy, which is perfectly fine. So what Deb's going to do is actually swap out sea lions, and she's going to try walking Callie instead. So is Amanda around who can take Maya for us? We'll see if Amanda from backstage can come and join us. So whenever we're working with our sea lions, as I said, we always want to end on a positive note. And everything we do with our sea lions is their choice. So if they don't want to participate in a particular behavior, they don't have to. So you saw that Maya chose to go back to the pool, and that is perfectly fine. That's definitely her safe spot. And if she doesn't want to walk out the gate today, she doesn't need to. We're going to see if Callie can walk out the gate instead. And Callie is definitely a little bit more hesitant about those green viewing squares located on the walkway. But you might notice that our black mat seats are actually on top of the green squares. They're blocking most of the green color there. But this seat is one thing that we can use with our sea lions to give them a bit more information. So you can see that Claire is on one here on the island. And we have some seats that are on the front edge of the stage as well. And these are just another training tool that we use with our sea lions to get them used to a new environment. And she's doing great so far.
Let's go. Let's go. You're fine.
Participate in their own healthcare. So for instance, you saw Claire open her mouth for me earlier. This is a great way for me to get a good look at all of her teeth that are in her mouth there. And we can also look over their entire body and make sure that they don't have any cuts or scrapes. And we can train them for all different types of behaviors like x-rays, ultrasounds, blood draws, even eye drops. And
And we do brush our sea lion's teeth too, using a bamboo toothbrush. And as I said, this is all preventative health care, so if our sea lions ever were to need a procedure like this, they're already used to these behaviors. But I do want